Join me as I dive into the journey of Tony Evans' son stepping up to take on a huge ministry role in his church. Can he live up to the legacy? The topic of legacy in church leadership is huge, especially when a family member takes over. It's a big deal because the expectations are high, and the church community often has a deep emotional investment in the ministry. When Tony Evans, a well-known pastor and author, passes on the torch to his son, it's natural to wonder if he can fill his father's shoes. Just hours before one of the most pivotal moments in his family's legacy, Dr. Tony Evans revealed something no one was expecting, a confession that could change the way the world sees him and his ministry forever. You won't believe the moment that left even his closest supporters stunned. This is the story behind the scenes, the untold truths, and the moments no camera captured. Until now, Dr. Tony Evans has been a towering figure in the world of faith and leadership for decades. His sermons have inspired millions and his teachings have shaped generations. But behind the pulpit, behind the public appearances, something extraordinary was about to unfold, a moment that would not only mark a milestone in his son's life, but also reveal sides of Dr. Evans that few have ever seen. In this video, we're taking you behind the scenes to the moments before his son's installation, where tensions ran high, emotions were raw, and truths long held in private began to surface. You'll hear about the challenges, the pressures, and the unexpected admissions that Dr. Evans shared in those final hours. Some of what happened is deeply personal, some of it is shocking, and some of it will make you see the Evans family and their ministry in a completely new light. Stay with us because what happened next is the kind of story people will be talking about for years. The morning sun had barely broken over Dallas when Dr. Tony Evans arrived at the family church, a place that had been the heart of his ministry for decades. But today wasn't just another Sunday. Today his son was about to step into a role that carried not just expectation, but the weight of a family legacy. Every step Dr. Evans took down the familiar hallway seemed heavier than the last, and behind his calm, composed exterior, a storm of thoughts and emotions brewed. This wasn't simply about a ceremonial installation. This was a culmination of years of mentorship, prayer, and preparation. Dr. Evans had spent a lifetime guiding young leaders, but guiding your own child into a role that the world would scrutinize, that brought an entirely new kind of pressure. In private moments, he confessed that the responsibility felt almost unbearable. He worried about how the congregation would respond, how the outside world would interpret this transition, and whether his son was truly ready for the spotlight. But what made this day even more intense were the whispers, the unspoken questions that lingered in the air. People had been speculating for weeks. Some doubted whether the transition was purely merit-based. Others wondered if the personal relationship between father and son would cloud judgment. And amidst all of this, Dr. Evans held a secret concern, one he had rarely, if ever, voiced publicly. He told close confidants that he feared not for the public image, not for the media headlines, but for the spiritual readiness of his son. It's one thing to teach, to preach, to lead, he said quietly in the empty office before the ceremony. It's another to live it. When every eye is on you, that's a burden I hope he can carry. And then there was a moment, a pause that changed everything. Dr. Evans looked out across the empty sanctuary, imagining the congregation filling the seats, imagining the ceremony in full swing, imagining the eyes of the world on his son. A deep sigh escaped him. For the first time in years, he admitted a vulnerability few had ever seen, the fear of letting go. But what happened next would reveal something even more unexpected, something that would leave both the family and the congregation stunned. What Dr. Evans shared privately in that early morning moment set the tone for the day, and it's a truth that could redefine how people understand his leadership and his legacy. As the minutes ticked closer to the installation ceremony, Dr. Tony Evans retreated to a quiet room behind the sanctuary, a room few had ever entered, and even fewer had seen him in private. The air was thick with anticipation, but in that silence, something extraordinary was about to unfold. Leadership transitions can be tricky, even in the best of circumstances. There's the challenge of living up to the founder's vision while also bringing a fresh perspective. It's not just about making changes, it's about respecting the legacy while moving forward. The church community may have mixed feelings, some excited for the new chapter and others who might be skeptical about change. Tony Evans' ministry has been around for decades, impacting countless lives through his preaching, teaching, and writing. His son, Jonathan Evans, has been involved in the ministry for years, but taking on a significant leadership role is a different story. Jonathan's journey, from growing up as the son of a famous pastor to finding his own voice and leadership style, is worth exploring. The transition may affect the church community in various ways, from the way services are conducted to the overall direction of the ministry. It's a significant event, not just for the church but also for Jonathan, as he steps into a role that comes with high expectations. The moment Jonathan officially takes over the role will be a significant one. It's a moment of passing the baton, where the old guard gives way to the new. Emotions will likely run high as the church community comes together to support this new chapter. It will be a celebration of legacy, faith, and the trust that Tony Evans has in his son to carry on his work. The significance of this event goes beyond just a leadership change, it's about the spiritual impact on the church community. It's a reminder that leadership is not just about one person but about a community of believers working together. As Jonathan steps into this role, he will have the opportunity to inspire and guide his congregation in new ways. In summary, the transition of Tony Evans' son into a significant ministry role is a big deal. It comes with challenges but also opportunities for growth and a renewed sense of purpose. The legacy of Tony Evans will continue, but it will also evolve as Jonathan brings his own perspective to the role. If you have thoughts on this leadership transition or other church leadership topics, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Also, if you're interested in more discussions on church leadership and the dynamics of ministry, check out another video where we explore similar topics. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.